Joe, obviously the story recently has been about Corbin, his kind of elevation, how he's impacted the team. What did you originally see in him when you recruited him, and then in these kind of early months of seeing him with the guys in practice?
Well, what I originally saw in him was, playing in this league. Uh, I saw that every team in this league sort of had a 6'5", 6'6" NFL tight end, human bowling ball. And they were using them and they were being effective, and it was giving us tons of problems. So that made me, think along those lines. But also in my career, guys who've done well for me at sort of the center spot have sort of been some undersized guys. Nick Welch here. I had a kid at Denver who was unbelievable, Chris Udofia. They're like undersized guys who had a certain type of athleticism along with basketball acumen. So, putting those two things together, I started to just put in my mind, hey, we got to figure out how to play with a smaller guy, but that smaller guy in this league has to have sort of his athleticism. So that's all. And then as he got here and has been here, what made me start to think, along the lines, like every day, all preseason, my assistants take Corbin and they were taking Bo. And every time we were doing some type of shooting or we were doing whatever we were doing, 5 guys would be down on that other court learning what we do because they were a little bit behind. And, I just saw in him the demeanor that's required to play, sort of be the hub in what we do. The demeanor needs to be sort of like calm. Nothing bothers you because the other 4 guys are sort of revolving around you, and the calmness helps them. And then that calmness makes them move in a certain way where their movements help, the center. So, like I said to some other people, I think that's the way it worked out was good for him because I don't know I know he wasn't ready in game 1 when we were going to Bowling Green. It's just the way it was. But playing games, continuing to coach him, I kept seeing coming along in the lines that we needed. And, he's stepped in, obviously done really well, and he's sort of provided what we need, at that position. And I think to a certain extent, Bo, does the same. And we were doing the same with him. He was down there learning the center spot over and over again because I just knew as we went through this year that, that was going to be a possibility for us, as that's what we were going to need. And, you got to give both of those guys credit. Obviously, Corbin's been unbelievable, but give them both credit for their work ethic, their ability to just, take to the coaching. And I think when you do that, that's usually when good things happen.
I'm sure in your coaching career, this isn't the first time that a guy maybe didn't look ready enough in practice and then got thrusted, and it probably won't be the last, but what do you think is the biggest thing that happens or that game time can reveal about a player that maybe practice can't?
Well, I think that's what you find out. Like as a coach, I've always done it my whole career. I know it when I see it, and when I see it, that makes me say throw him in there because you find out right away if you're right or not. And you find out if you're wrong right away. Oh, nope, not ready. You know what I mean? So, and like I said, I've had other experience with it before. I did it with the kid Udofia. And what is you're doing it for a certain reason, and the game shows you whether you're right off the bat in terms of not necessarily points scored, not necessarily 12 rebounds or something, just in terms of their, again, the same word, the demeanor, the calmness, because in what we do, that's what that person has to bring, sort of that calmness for the other 4 guys. And, I just think in the grand scheme of things, what he's done really well is just that. And I think what it does is, he doesn't expand wasted energy. The most impressive thing, I think, has been his ability to play 35 minutes and be out there playing. And he doesn't appear gassed to me. He doesn't appear tired, and he's a freshman playing for the first time to play that many minutes. Nothing really bothers him. And I think it's, again, he sees the game. He doesn't waste energy. He doesn't waste energy sort of emotionally with what's going on. And, that all comes down to his ability to play 36 minutes, knock on wood, not get in foul trouble. It's rare to see that from a freshman, but he's been able to do it. And like I said, I saw it from him every day when we're practicing. He's just coming along. He's taking to the coaching, and he just showed it, right out of the gate. And I know everybody will say, oh, look at the dunks and look at the this and look at the that. To me, it was, look at how he's not affected. And when position's not affected, look at how our other guys are playing better, sort of, and our offense seems to be getting better. And that's why I know there's still more room for improvement in that area.
After Montana, you said you really liked what you saw from your defense. You liked what you saw defensively, but what adjustments do you want to see offensively tomorrow night?
Well, I mean, I think we sort of did it at halftime at Montana. Our offense was either great or it was bad in the first half against Montana. And we had say 8 possessions that were bad, but the other, say, 17 were really good. So at halftime, we just talked about that, and I think we came out in the second half and really executed well. Only had 1 turnover and sort of made progress that way. And, that's what I really want to see from our offense, and what I keep stressing to our guys is we have to maintain our defensive intensity. We have to sort of maintain and make our defensive fundamentals be a habit, because that, if we can be like that, which will be key tomorrow, if we can be like that, then we're really spending all our time on our offensive execution. We're really spending all of our time on getting better offensively, crispness, execution, just continued knowledge of what we're really looking for offensively. And if our defense lets us down, then that's gonna hurt us. But our D's been good, but we got to keep making sure that, because that's the way to make sure that we do improve offensively. That we're so. And again, that's a sign of a veteran team. That's a sign of a team that has the right sort of winning habits. That just because we're not practicing these things defensively every day and focusing it, that doesn't mean that wears away. Our guys have to show, no, it's not going to wear away. It's going to be a habit and a staple, and then that's how we get our offense, to start to help our defense.
Coach, back on Corbin real quick. When you were recruiting him, did you see the fact that he had this certain mental toughness, and also did he have those softball shoulders when?
Yes. Well, it was hard in that recruiting class because of COVID. So to actually say on film, or however you recruited him, we did go see him, I think at some point live, but most of it was during that COVID time. So it's hard to say demeanor and calmness. But I did actually, in watching him, what I saw was just a sort of a person, one who had those shoulders and had that like athleticism. And like I say, I call it NFL type. It's like Tony Gonzalez type stuff. Who's the other guy from the Chargers? He was a great college basketball player, Antonio Gates. I saw that, and then I just did see sort of and it's nothing like unbelievable. I just saw like a guy that just played basketball. You know what I mean? Like, wow, all of a sudden you'd see that, but then you see him just sort of moving the right way and helping his teammates. And oftentimes that's a rare combination to get somebody who has sort of that kind of explosive athleticism who then plays sort of so calmly. Those two things sometimes they don't go together. The guy that has that thing, he wants to like rev up and be sped up and have that, and that's what he's doing well because he's calm. He helps us defensively. He helps out. He's calm. He's like, he doesn't overreact to things. His not overreacting to things helps the other 4 guys not overreact to things, and it's really helped, on both sides of the ball.
That's rare for a freshman, though, isn't it?
It is, and again, like I said, I keep bringing up Welch and Udofia, these guys. They had the same thing, you know what I mean? They had this ability at a young age to Luke's question, to go out there. You never know, right? You think you're right, but you never know till in the game. But when that time comes in the game, I'm not looking for the wow play from that. I'm looking for the calmness. And when you see that calmness with what that guy has, that's an unbelievable combination, because that means you're using your head, you're seeing the game's slowing down for you, and you have that kind of, natural athleticism, and those are the guys that really use their athleticism, the guys that slow things down, and that's probably what has made him do as well as he has, up to this point.
You guys have won 3 in a row, and I guess it's easy for us to think, oh, you're making these great strides and great improvement. Are you seeing that from week to week?
I mean, I've seen it in the last 10 days. and you never know what are the things, like I said when this first started, sometimes it's the adversity, that brings out the improvement, you know what I mean? Like embrace it, it wasn't great. It's not great that guys are sick. It's not great that guys are hurt. But sometimes when those situations occur, that's when you find out, what you have inside you, how a team can come together. It's those types of situations that, put you in the position we're in. And our guys have responded. It's not just Corbin. Bo Becker's coming along. I think guys are really starting to understand their roles. There's a gelling together, of what we want. Ethan's turnovers are down in the last 3 games. And that was a big thing coming into this year. Like you got to cut down on your turnovers. You got to be solid. And that's coming. So the more we keep along this path, the more that keeps occurring, the more guys understand their roles, the more you're going to see, continued improvement. So I see more of it. Obviously things get harder. As you go through the year, things don't get easier. Things get harder. There's going to be those new experiences for Corbin and Bo. I like the contributions we're getting from other, across our team. We're getting contributions from Ritas. We're getting contributions from Marcel. These guys are freshmen. We're getting contributions. The sophomores are playing like they're a little bit older. Jeff Mills he was sick for a while, but he's coming along now. That they're playing right now older than they are, which is something that I said coming into the year. That's what we needed to see. When were they going to show that they learned from last year, whether they're a year older, a year tougher, a year stronger. It's really, are you a year mentally, further advanced? And if we stay on the path we're on, I think we can, keep getting more of that from all of them and hopefully keep getting some other guys to come along and make contributions, because as you go through it, as it gets harder, I'd like to get another 1 or 2 guys who I think we have to keep coming along.
You mentioned roles. I believe Ritas, is that how you say his name? He seems like the quintessential Air Force guy.
A quintessential Joe Scott guy, I know that. I mean, he's got a nose for the ball. He loves to play. He's a competitor. You don't sit there and talk about Ritas and go, oh, wow, he can shoot. Oh, wow, he can do that. Wow, look at that. What you just say is, wow, how much fun is he to watch play? That guy loves the game. He loves getting on the floor. What he brings is winning. He's a winning player. He's got winning habits for to be doing that as a freshman. He's got a nose for the ball, and those things are contagious. What's important about him is the way he plays is contagious. I could say the same like Corbin, that calmness, it's sort of contagious. But that's definitely Ritas. And, we need to keep getting him to know what he's doing more, you know what I mean? Because he, drives me a little nuts. But you're allowed to drive me nuts when you go get the ball the way he does.
Yeah, watching him play, I thought this is a Joe Scott
No,
guy.
he's just he's a tough kid. Loves to play. Everything he does is about the team and winning, and like I said, that's contagious. That's what you want. You get a bunch of guys playing that way. That's when you have a good team.
And then did Lucas have a surgery, and if no?
No, I think what he's doing, he decided just because of finals in school. They already know what it is. So instead of him, missing class or hurting and walking around while school's going on, finish the semester academically the right way, and then he's going to have the surgery as soon as he's done with finals, so that he can focus, on the rehab. Focus on school now, so he keeps doing well in school. Focus on the rehab as soon as school's over, and then, in a tough situation. For him, mostly, for him, obviously personally, but for us as a team, trying to get the best, make the most of not a great situation.
Would there be any way he takes a semester off and then tries to work a turn back?
Somebody said something like that to me. I think those rules at the academy and whatever those things are, in this day and age, anything you can do to sort of get a year back, whatever's possible. I think that would be, in his best interest, so we haven't gone down that path, just trying to get him to finish the semester, do well, and get the surgery, see what comes out, what's the prognosis, what's the rehab period like. But obviously with the semester ending, that's all part of his situation.
And was Corbin, as a recruit, was he a tough get, or did everybody else kind of overlook him?
You know, it's a tough situation. I mean, that year, that whole class was the COVID year. So, as you had the COVID year, and then you have now, as it's continued recruiting wise, the whole high school recruiting kids in the transfer portal. You know, the level of recruitment for that whole class, and even you know, Jake Heidebreder was in on that too, was just not the same. The whole recruiting calendar, the whole recruiting period of going out and seeing guys, you know, a lot of guys didn't get recruited the way they normally do. So I think that was, you know, definitely part of his recruitment.